To stick or to pivot? That's the question. I've had a lot of nice comments motivating me to finish the game, but I've tried and ultimately failed to make the game fun. So screw it, I'm pivoting. So, if you didn't get it by the title, I'm making a first-person multiplayer PvP modular gun game. Fuck me, that's the title. Anyway, so players will randomly unlock new parts and eventually be able to build their dream gun. My favourite games are easy to start but hard to master, and that's the goal of this project. And while gun building will do this, I have an additional idea to enforce this more, but it will make more sense if I explain it later on in the video. The first thing to do was to plan out the gun parts, because you know what they say, plan to fail and you fail to plan. Wait, no, other way around. Anyway, here's the modelled and textured chamber and some other gun parts. Also, before you comment, yes, I know so much of this gun is not realistic, but indie devs have to cut corners somewhere, and my priorities in this project are good game feel, nice visuals, and lastly, realisticness. Anyway, next I wanted to see what it would look like in game, so I put together a gun viewing scene and created a script to randomly pick parts. Also, just ignore the shader, I was trying something, don't judge me. Now, before I can start coding the player controller, I actually need to make the player. So, I opened up Blender and then modeled, textured, and animated this character. Then I exported him into the game, coded the player controller scripts, and I've done this so many times, so this will work first time. Since this is not a realistic game, I don't really want to use a realistic lit shader, so I made a toon-like shader. It's similar to TF2 shader. It's like a cell shader and a toon shader had a kid. After that, I worked on the gun gameplay by adding gun sway, gun recoil, ADSing, some effects, and gamma shake, and here it is together. But first, let me explain my genius idea I had for killing two birds with one stone. Instead of creating a bunch of kickback animations, I created a blend tree for forward, back, left and right sway. And then I coded a script to handle gun sway and play a kickback animation using an animation curve. So just by changing these settings, I'm able to create very different and random animations for different guns. Next I did a reload animation, and to mask my amazing animating skills, I created a script to throw and spin the gun a couple times throughout the animation. Also, don't worry, I did end up settling for just half a spin to keep it more realistic. Currently the player's hands are so pixelated it's like we're making a pixel game. So I created a new texture for them and it's not perfect but it's definitely better. Now, I was gonna be lazy and just change the size of the glow stick for different chambers, but I decided I need different models. So I modeled a new SMG chamber and a new bolt action chamber, along with a few more attachments. I also mapped out how a bow attachment could even work, but I had a better idea for this in the future, so stay tuned. I then finished up the gun gameplay by adding 2 more reload animations with of course some unrealistic spins, and lastly I added IK for the left hand to grip the gun at different positions. Now I needed to improve the movement, and just like Apple does with cameras, I spam added every movement mechanic I could think of, which ended up being sprint, double jump, crouch, slide, and wall run. Next, I needed to make the bolt action chamber actually bolt action. So I made a script called Guncock, started making some methods, and then realized these don't sound the best. So I ended up renaming everything, and here's the finished result. So like I said previously, I want this game to be easy to start, but hard to master. And my main idea for this is hidden game mechanics. So the first one I added is cancelling the Guncock animation. This will make it faster to reload, but will mean your first bullet will be a blank, which is not important for SMGs, but kinda a big deal if you're using a bolt action chamber. Next, I finished off a lot of things by adding decals, new hit effects, creating a map, which I'm calling Battery Town and definitely wasn't inspired by Nuketown. Then I added weapon switching so the player can now use 2 guns, and finally I added a random gun selection area, so I could test out chambers with different attachments. Next Devlog will be making it actually multiplayer by networking the game, and hopefully adding a bunch more attachment ideas that I have. So subscribe if you want to follow the progress on this project, and hit like if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.